this will continue to build. ESPN and Turner did a great job in bringing it to life in the United States. And, our great players every night come back and do great things night after night. I mean, look in Pittsburgh. Sid Crosby is a marvel, and we've been lucky to have him in the game. Mike Sullivan, did a great job with Team USA, not just in coaching the team, but the way he conveyed to everybody what was going on and how everybody felt about the tournament. So, maybe this whole event will give people who weren't really hockey fans, maybe not even sports fans, an opportunity to say, you know what we saw was really good, really exciting, really entertaining. I want to see some more of it.
Gary, who are some of the people outside the hockey world who either text you or reached out and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe we got this guy to buy in and lock into this great tournament?
I heard from governmental leaders, politicians, business people. I mean, yeah, my phone lit up. And it was gratifying. People telling me stories that they were at other sporting events, and everybody was on their phone watching the games on Thursday night. Listen, the numbers we did were huge numbers, so it's clear that lots and lots and lots of people were tuned in. And if you compare the number in North America, I think we were over 16 million, because I think we did another 8 million in addition to the 9.3 in the U.S. We did 8 million in Canada.
Gary, you mentioned the game at Ohio Stadium coming up here. Do you still feel like outdoor hockey, especially in the United States, is moving the needle the way you want it to for the league?
Absolutely. It's a great event, particularly in person. Fans in the markets where we go to do it. And we've done a number of games in Pittsburgh. So, I mean, people love to come to the outdoors, brave the cold, and in record numbers compared to the 15 to 20,000 we typically have indoors in arenas. They love it. It takes the ultimate reality show, sports, and our game, and subjects it to the elements, and it brings up, conjures up memories of kids learning to skate on frozen ponds. And it also creates its own memories, when people come together from all over in those large numbers.
Gary Bettman with us, the commissioner of the NHL. I'm sure once you have a great tournament like that, you think about ways to make it better and make it more successful the next time you do it, Gary. One question we got throughout was, will they add Russia? Can they get Russia and Evgeny Malkin and Alexander Ovechkin into this tournament? What would you say to that?
Well, there's a two-part answer to that. One is, when we do the World Cup, we're envisioning at least 8 teams. At this point, for the 4 nations, we had to do with the timing, because we only had a short window to put it together, and the realities of the geopolitics in the world. I mean, 2 weeks ago, the IHF, the International Ice Hockey Federation, voted to continue to ban Russia from competition. The IOC's got to make that same decision for the Olympics in the next couple of months. So, that issue is not one that we decide. It's more one where we have to pay attention to what the world governing bodies are doing with Russia in sports right now.
Gary, to go back a little bit with something else Four Nations related that is not about geopolitics, we are obviously blessed in this city to have had an almost uninterrupted run for 40 years of basically the brightest lights in the sport calling Pittsburgh home. Mario Lemieux, before that game, can you walk us through the process of having him involved on the Team Canada side leading into the Four Nations?
Because we haven't seen him here in a while, Gary.
It's been a while here.
Well, he has a place not too far from where we were in Montreal, and he generally is kind of somebody who stays away from the public eye. But the crowd in Montreal at the Bell Center was electric. I think I heard one of the players from one of the other teams go, I'm sure glad he doesn't introduce the team when we had to play our game. It was emotional. He is beloved, not just in Pittsburgh or in Montreal, but throughout the NHL, he's given so much to the game. And frankly, I thought it was great to see the reaction he got, and then I was with him to see his reaction to what the reaction to him was. It was really a very special moment.
Gary, the next time you do the Four Nations, is it set to be Montreal and Boston, or could it be in a place like Toronto for Canada and Pittsburgh, where we obviously love hockey?
Oh, no, we're going to bid it out, and there'll be some games we believe in Europe.
Wow.
The World Cup is going to be a real World Cup, like depending on how many teams, there may be some qualifications. We envision once we bring the World Cup back, which we'll do 2 years after next year's Olympics, that people will view this like they do the World Cup of soccer.
Gary, I have to bring this up just because, it's kind of the nature of sports fandom. You're comparing one thing to another, and people talked about, wow, this Four Nations is incredible, and then would bring up the All-Star Game in less flattering terms, but the All-Star Game isn't gone. What, if any, kind of different or new plans do you have for the All-Star Game moving forward in the NHL?
Actually, our All-Star Game for a number of years has not been criticized at all. We revamped the skills, and we did that with players like Connor McDavid having us do it, and it's worked well. And then I think it was the All-Star Game in Nashville, 6, 7, 8 years ago, where we went to the 3-on-3 round robin, $1 million winner take all. And we've not gotten criticism over our All-Star Game. Obviously, Four Nations took everything to a new level, but our All-Star Game wasn't one that was under siege by any stretch of the imagination.
You've got to feel good, though, that it seems like the discourse afterwards was, how do the other leagues either steal or copy or find a facsimile of what you guys did?
That remains to be seen over time, to the extent people take something away from it that they thought might work for them.
Yep.
What do they say? Imitation is the highest form of flattery.
Exactly.
We don't, we kind of do our own thing. Again, we changed the All-Star Game to go to 3-on-3 with a little round robin. We move our skills around. We try the outdoor games. We don't hesitate to try some things that are new and innovative, and our fans might find very special. Hey, listen, we're going to play 2 outdoor games next season in Florida. That's new, that's innovative, and some people say it may be crazy. We'll tune in now and see how we did.
Gary, we are now 12 goals away from Alexander Ovechkin tying Wayne Gretzky. We are 13 goals away from him breaking Gretzky's goal record, which felt like an untouchable mark, particularly since it wasn't the roaring 80s anymore offensively for the league for a while. When you consider Ovechkin, the achievement that he's on the precipice of, just what is your reaction to the fact that the NHL is very soon going to have a new all-time goal champion?
Well, before I answer that question, let me just touch 2 points. One, while Alex and Sid have been playing, and we have been more than blessed to have them for roughly 2 decades, that was the era after we lost the season, created competitive balance, and made the rule changes that opened up the game. So we've been more offensive-oriented than we were in the era you were referring to back before their careers. But again, having Sid and Alex in the game has been unbelievable, and we're grateful to both of them. But yeah, having a record that nobody thought could be broken, and looking at Alex's endurance and the level of skill and compete that he's had, it's really special. And I was with Wayne in Boston, and frankly, at the end of the day, he and I are both going to be following Alex around to hopefully plan to be there when he ties and then breaks the record. And it is one of the truly extraordinary events that you'll see in sport.
And that could lead you to Pittsburgh, because the last game of the regular season is Capitals and Penguins. How about the schedule makers nailing that one as a potential place where he breaks the record or ties it, Gary?
Probably wasn't a coincidence.
I don't think so.
Based on what he did yesterday, if he keeps that up, we may not get to that.
I was just going to say, you might have to tell some people to try to slow him down a little bit.
Gary,
now.
You've touched on Sid a little bit in this interview. I'm very interested in just hearing you, because you're such an eloquent speaker, just describe the Sidney Crosby impact on the NHL. There's a stat going around that he's now won gold or an international championship 5 times for Team Canada. The U.S. as a total nation has only done it 4 times. And so just his serial winning that he has brought to your sport.
Well, actually, I think up until the game that they lost the first game in the Four Nations, the Team Canada had won like 26 games
Correct.
in a row
Yep.
with him. I mean, let's start. He's a great player. He's a great leader. He represents the games on and off the ice, incomparably. He represents everything that's great about the game. He represents Pittsburgh well, and he's just a first-class, terrific person. He's the whole deal, and we have been grateful to see this career unfold from when he was, a kid.
And he's gotten other kids involved in the sport here. Logan Cooley got drafted by Arizona in the first round as a top pick, and he came through Sidney Crosby's hockey program.
Yeah,
Gary, how about that?
He's done it all on and off the ice, and it's just, it's been great to see. And obviously, when he's done, we're going to miss him, but hopefully he won't be too far from the game.